welcome to another episode of The Person Behind the Pen. My name is Nick, and I am the founder of Guiding Brilliant Writers and your host. I would like to welcome Leslie Flowers and Jackie Halberg. I see you out there in the audience already and tuning in from LinkedIn, which is a good sign. It means that we are not backed up in a lag tonight. Goodness gracious, must be our lucky stars. So we are in for a big treat tonight. As I was logging in and looking at my background and thinking, wow, I really got to update that. There's 5 books up there. But I'm about to introduce you to the co-authors of the 8th collaborative book that we are publishing, adding another 8 authors to our family. What an extremely incredible first year for Guiding Brilliant Writers. It has been a heck of a journey. Entrepreneurship is quite interesting. We shall leave it at that because that's not what the show is about. But what we will be talking about today is the next collaborative book coming out on New Year's Day, January 1st of 2026. This book was envisioned by Crystal Chilcott. Crystal, a good friend of mine, has also written in a couple of the anthologies published by myself. And she is an international figure skater as well as a pageant contestant. Crystal is currently Mrs. Olympic City and lives with type 1 diabetes. So she wrote this year in We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnoses, released on January 1st. Through that conversation, I was enlightened that she not only advocates on social media, but also her platform in pageantry for people with type 1 diabetes. I am incredibly proud to know her. There is no doubt living with any diagnoses is difficult, but to walk a pageant stage, wearing an omnipad, blinged out to go with her gown, she is brave, she is strong, and she is setting the standard. So Pageants, Pride, and Prejudice was envisioned by Crystal, and she wanted to pull together a book, a collection of stories from her pageantry sisters, so they could share about their journeys. There are so very many misconceptions about pageantry, and I like to consider myself someone that doesn't judge. However, I am human, and oftentimes we know only what we know. I was a little girl who loved to sit and watch Miss Universe. I loved to watch Miss World. All the beautiful women, the gowns, the glitz, the glam, who were my favorites. And that's all that I thought it was. And then I would run off and I would grab the closest thing that I could find that I could put on my head that was shiny. And I pretended that I was one of the contestants. In fact, in high school, primary school, back in Trinidad, every lunchtime, we were about 11 then, we would play Miss Universe. And we wore school uniforms. So it was a brown skirt and a white blouse. Like, how boring. Everybody wore the same thing. But, we would parade up and down one by one. We would choose who was going to be Miss Chile, who was going to be Miss France, who's going to be Miss. And we would tie our blouses and knots or hike up our skirts. We were always trying to jazz up the uniform. So getting the opportunity to meet these 7 women, to have collected all of their final chapters yesterday. I have done my reading and my editing, and I had no idea just how vast this world of pageantry has become. This, folks, is modern day pageantry. This is evolution and what the future looks like. There are so many pageants out there. It is going to make your head spin. It certainly made mine. So I am going to welcome Jason, my dear friend. the founder of HR4U, and the spearheader of Transformation Kitchen, Guiding Brilliant Writers. Next year, we'll have the pleasure of publishing the Transformation Kitchen first charitable annual cookbook. Stay tuned for that. I also want to say hello to dear Linda Meyer and Miss Beautiful Sharon Rose out there in the audience. So thank you so much, everyone. If you are tuning in on YouTube, I may not be catching your comments. I will most certainly be going back to address your comments there. So without further ado, I am going to bring up Crystal Chilcott. Hello, my friend. Welcome, welcome. How are you?
Doing well. I loved hearing your story about playing Miss Universe at recess. That's such a fun idea. And that reminds me of when I would play at recess. Sometimes my friends and I would imitate pageants as well.
Oh my gosh. So it's good to hear that I was not the only one, or we weren't the only ones doing this. And listen, that was Trinidad. Okay. So this is Universe, Miss Universe. So what fond memories. And to find ourselves here now, and even in that sense, to find myself here now with you, um, someone I met not that long ago, but long enough ago because it is social media.
Yeah.
And, when I consider that we've written together now and we kick off the next year with your anthology published by Guiding Brilliant Writers, it's just surreal, the things that happen. When you put yourself out there, you open yourself to new opportunities, you decide that you're going to collaborate. It brings forth so much for you, so much for me, and so much for 7 other people by your side in this book. Of course, I'm not writing in this book. I'm not a pageant contestant. I may have crossed the age restriction by now, I think, folks. I'm just saying.
Not every pageant has an age limit.
Oh my God, I love it. So, Crystal, most of our community knows you, but take a couple of minutes to introduce yourself and then tell us, what was the vision for this book?
So pageants and writing have been big parts of my life for as long as I can remember. As you'll find out when you read my chapter, I started competing in pageants when I was 9 years old, but I grew up watching pageants as well. My mom had competed, so it was a big deal to watch Miss America and Miss Universe and Miss USA every year. And I've also always wanted to be a writer ever since I was able to read and write myself. So I would tell my teachers in elementary school, my classmates, oh, I'm doing a pageant and I'm going to be a writer. Like, this was something I told everyone for years. Then I got my master's degree actually in creative writing. And after that, I stopped writing. I didn't necessarily have a good experience doing that. And I gave up on my writing for a while. And it wasn't until Nick came around and invited me to write in one of her anthologies, which was a People First professional networking platform. We met through LinkedIn, and I think we've known each other at least 2 years, maybe longer. I'm not sure. But we met through LinkedIn, and writing on that anthology kind of reawakened my love of writing. I also wrote in We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnoses about my type 1 diabetes diagnosis. And I realized that a huge part of my diagnosis story also tied into my pageantry journey. And living with the diagnosis and also participating in pageants, there's a lot of misconceptions and a lot of stigmas around that. So I was talking with Nick and had this vision for this book, and she's been very supportive of my pageant journey. She's actually been a sash letter sponsor on my sash the last 2 years. So she's been a part of my pageant journey. And even before we started talking about this anthology, she would ask me about my pageant journey. So she's been very involved. She's learned a lot about pageants. I've been teaching her about all the different systems, and now I think she's an expert. So that's a little bit about my background. And the vision for this book is just to bring so many different women from different parts of pageantry and share their stories, like the challenges that they've overcome, the stigmas that they've overcome. And we have a really diverse background for all of these women, a lot of different stories. So I'm really excited for this to be released in really just a couple of weeks now.
I know, I'm like super excited. I see Heidi out there in the comments chiming in from YouTube. Heidi is another one of the contestants. You will meet her next Tuesday. She will be here Tonight we have Kate and we have Mecaila, and I cannot wait to bring them up. I just want to thank everybody again for being here. You know, it it hurts me sometimes because I feel that storytelling in today's world is starting to perhaps lose um, its I don't want to say its hold, but as somebody that grew up reading and has always been into storytelling, I've always found it mesmerizing. And what is mesmerizing about it for me is when I see by someone else's hand the way that they share their story. And there's a lot out there right now that can assist you in writing a story. But truly, 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 from my heart, I feel that no one else is able to actually tell it the way that you can. And so I encourage you, if you've never written before and you want to, at least the first time around, do it on your own. I mean, not on your own with help with somebody like me, but I mean, actually write it word for word. Don't use anything AI or ChatGPT just yet. Give yourself that full-on experience of expressing yourself authentically and vulnerably as possible. So I am going to introduce you now to Kate Arvidson. Kate Arvidson is former Miss Wheelchair Alaska, USA. She is also a licensed clinical social worker. I am not going to share anymore because her journey is so incredible. And what this woman has been doing has just absolutely blown my mind away. Crystal, is there anything you would like to add about Kate on a personal level before I bring her up?
So we were connected on social media, similar to how Nick and I have never met in person. We met through social media. It's the same with her. We've been Facebook friends for a while, and I've always admired her journey. So I was really excited when she reached out and wanted to be a part of this story. And I think that all of our readers are going to really enjoy her chapter. It's very inspiring, and she's been through a lot, and she really empowers others as well.
Yes, wonderful. So please welcome Kate to the stage. Hello.
Hi.
Oh my goodness. I am so glad you're here with us tonight. And well, it's afternoon right now by you.
It is. The sun is almost setting.
And that is so strange to me. So you are in Alaska. And so
Yep.
it's 2:15 p.m. there. And yet I'm here in New York. It's dark out. And I'm thinking, well, it's afternoon there. But you're telling me that it will soon be dark. It's still a little mind-boggling to me, the changes in everything. So,
Yeah.
Kate, welcome to the person behind the pen. I feel so blessed to have you here with us today.
Oh, thank you.
Please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're calling it from. We know Alaska. And incidentally, I believe you had a procedure today and still somehow made it here.
I did. Yeah. Gosh, I don't know where to start. I'm so excited. This is actually kind of a fun story. The head judge at my pageant system, his name is Matt, and he gave us a seminar on writing and said, go write your story. And he encouraged all of us to write something. And then when I saw Crystal's message come across Facebook, I was like, I'm going to go write a chapter for this thing. Like, why not?
That's right. That's right. Another step. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I am just, so share with us a little bit about what the pageant that you were crowned in is all about, because I'm unfamiliar. Well, liar, liar, pants on fire, because now I read the stories and you people out there didn't yet. So you will get to know. But tell us a little bit about what Miss Wheelchair Alaska USA competition is all about.
Yeah, it's an incredible opportunity. There are thousands of pageants and pageant systems, and there are only 2 pageants for women who rely on wheelchairs.
Wow.
And we all all are not necessarily non-ambulatory, meaning you can't walk at all. I'm completely non-ambulatory, but there's varying degrees of, having to rely on a wheelchair. And the basis for this particular pageant is that you have to use it like most of the time, like you need it almost all the time. And so I competed this past summer, and I got to spend a week with like all these incredible, amazing women who experience some of the challenges that I experience just on a day-to-day level. So it was fantastic.
I just, the sort of navigating life as it is from a chair, and then stepping into such a demanding space.
Yeah, and it was all the glitz and glam too. Like, it's a lot about advocacy, but we had our gowns and we had our big earrings and we had the glitter and the sequins and all of that too. So it was like a nice melding of the two, the pageant world and the disability world.
Oh, what an incredible way to say it. And I mean, Crystal, I'm sure that you could add as well to what goes on backstage. I'm sure there are interview questions and different types of other prep work. Tell us a little bit about that, Crystal. What is that like in the background?
There's a lot of preparation. People usually just see a few seconds on stage, but we also have our private judges interview, which is probably the most important part of the conversation and the competition, because that's the only time the judges get to actually meet you and you get to actually talk to them. So all of us have our own causes that we're passionate about and the different things that make us unique. And to fit that into a short interview takes a lot of prep. There's a lot of mock interviews that happen, a lot of paperwork revisions, and months of practicing what you're going to look like on stage.
Oh God, all the prep that goes into it, like you say, and then what we see as the audience is just the minute out there up on stage, and we have no idea what has gone into all the months of preparation to get you to that point. So thank you for sharing that. Kate, I have a question for you. So I'd like to know, how has your platform or advocacy work grown because of pageantry? And what message do you feel called to amplify through this book?
That's a really good question. I think for me, it really pushed me, motivated me to get out there and start telling my story and start talking about the intersection of mental health and disability and what that can be like, the isolation and the depression and just even, with the holidays coming up, like I can't go to anybody else's house because I can't get upstairs. And so it's, it's kind of like these tiny little things that are barriers, like real true barriers. And that has an impact on somebody's mental health. And so I really got motivated, and I've spoken at 3 or 4 conferences now, and I have invites to 3 or 4 more. And it really pushed me onto the stage beyond the pageant. And that's, I just think that's really great. Like, it's really exciting to be having an impact on other people's lives in that way.
Yes. So, it is so much more than that stage that you step onto for the first time. It's almost like a springboard for other things that you want to get into. And from all the stories, I see a very common thread. There is huge community work going on as a result of and while preparing for and participating in these pageants. I mean, this is no joke kind of community work. I mean, this is talking about going all the way to legislation on Capitol Hill and affecting thousands of people It is just the outreach because of the size of the platform that you are on, and that you choose to not just compete within a pageant like this because you know qualify for the requirements, obviously, but you choose to further your amplification of what it is you live with daily, how others live with it daily, and how it is that you just really and truly do deserve to be up there too, right? It is a celebration of different things, right? And I think that is what reached me so deeply in this book, that it is such a celebration of beauty beyond skin deep. And that is exactly what pageants, Pride and Prejudice, deeper than the surface, is all about. It is about deeper than the surface. External beauty will fade with time. So, what is on the inside better remain, because that is what you're going to have to hold on to and rely on through all the rest of the days of your life. So, on the first of the year, I am asking all of you to go out there and support these women and to purchase Pageants, Pride and Prejudice. You're going to want to read these stories. You will never, ever, ever think of pageantry and the pageantry world the same again. Trust me. So, Kate, I have another question for you. Tell me right now, because I know that you said you kind of shared about what happened and how it is you came across this opportunity and you said yes. So, while you were writing your story, would you say that there was anything that you were writing in there at all that you maybe perhaps once thought of one way, but as you were writing it, you know, it changed, or was there a perspective shift on anything? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely the section, the end section where I really talk about pageantry. That piece I really wrestled with because I wanted to, how do I say it? I really wanted to get across how meaningful it was for me and how powerful the experience was. And not just because I'm in a wheelchair, but because pageantry itself is incredible for women. You know, the like Crystal was talking about, the prep work and the confidence and the picking out all the clothing, and you know, just every little bit of it is um brought me deeper into myself, I think. And I wasn't one expecting that to happen, and two, I really wanted to make sure people understood what a powerful experience it was for me. Like, it is about glitz and glam, and that's great. But it changed my life too in a real way. And I just wanted to make sure that that got expressed well in that part of the book, or that part of the chapter.
Well, I say that it certainly did. And Crystal, what are your thoughts? Because Crystal also read. Crystal actually has her master's degree in creative writing. So she is my collaborative partner in this anthology project. And, you know, because of her experience with writing and having written for a couple times with Writing Brilliant Writers, and also having her own solo book, Lining on Insulin, she brings forth a lot of experience with this. So, Crystal, what were your thoughts on Kate's chapter? Do you feel that she was able to, in fact, pull out all the stops with trying to have people understand that this is an opportunity for women, and not, and I'm going to say it because I'm very blunt, right?
Mm-hmm.
People used to, and I'm not saying they still do because I don't, look at pageantry as a vanity affair, right? Did see airheads with gorgeous figures. I hate to say it, but well, actually, I don't hate to say it. I'm just bloody saying it. So, the depth of the person that Kate is really was not getting an opportunity to shine until she stepped into this world, right? So, just a couple of words from you, Crystal, before we bring Kate off. But, how did you feel reading through her chapter as a pageant sister?
I loved reading it. I had heard about the Ms. Wheelchair USA system, but I didn't know that much about it. So I loved getting her behind the scenes look and without telling her whole chapter. But there's a part which has a really good mental image of all of the contestants backstage with their wheelchairs and gowns. And I just love that mental image. Like, it shows that this is something that's available for everyone. And you don't have to look a certain way or be a certain way to participate in this. So I do think that she pulled out all the stops, had everything in there, and I love that it shows her story and her journey and her diagnosis and how pageant is tied to that, because I feel like my diagnosis is very much tied to my pageantry journey as well, and they're two very different diagnoses, but I could really relate to her journey and how pageantry is a way of her being able to amplify that and being able to impact other people and help others as well. So I'm really excited for everyone to read her chapter.
Good. Another connection that you do not expect. You do not expect to hear the word pageant, competitor, and diagnosis in the same sentence. It's, again, just one of these notions that, I grew up with in my 20s. I'm in my 40s now. So it's been a little bit since I've been watching Miss Universe, and Miss World. But back then, again, you would never think that, that would be permittable, right? So it just goes to show just how much this platform has indeed changed, and what it has given these women the opportunity to do is to find their voice, heal, empower themselves, and go out there and empower others to change the way that pageants are looked at. And in my humble little opinion, this is just another opportunity to break the stigmas that are out there, because there are way too many of them. Kate, I thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Please go and relax. I know you had a procedure done today, and still that shows me the resilience in you to show up, because this mattered.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you so much. I
You're
can't
welcome.
wait to read everybody else's chapters.
No, I'm so excited for you and for all of us. All right, chat soon. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. Isn't she just delightful? She is just delightful. And oh my gosh, I can't say enough wonderful things about her story. And in fact, I can't say enough wonderful things about all the stories. I love what Leslie wrote up here, and I want to share this. Okay, so when you were ready to embrace that part of you, Nick showed up. Well, Nick could have been anyone that it was in the world of publishing, but or story development or anything like that. And yes, it is something that I want to touch on. When we want to do something, right? Oftentimes it doesn't occur at the time that it's at the forefront of our mind, and time goes by, and that flies out of your head, but it comes back around. And yes, it does come back around when the timing is right. And for these ladies, the timing was right. And it's funny, because I'm going to share this. Crystal, when we put out the call for the co-authors, I remember Crystal telling me her inbox was slammed. She is like, oh my God. It's like everybody, everywhere. And she said there must have been like 100 people that reached out to her to write in this book. But it's funny when you're in one industry and you don't understand the other industry that you want to dip your toe into. And so there were a lot of questions. What's involved? What are the timelines, the commitment, the cost, and various things like that. And I said to her, you wait and see. When we start to promote the book, when we start to talk about it, people are going to reach out to you and say, I wish I had joined Crystal.
Yes.
Truth or not truth?
Yes. So I think that if we do a sequel, we'll have another great group of writers. But I think for a lot of people, this was something brand new. Like a lot of pageant women had in their mind, like, oh, I want to write something someday, but they didn't know what all that entailed, how they could do it, what all was involved. So this has been a really great opportunity for people to learn and see what's involved with this industry.
Yes, I apologize. I put that comment up and blocked us both off the screen. It's a beautiful comment there by Sharon Roos, but we will address that a little later. So right now, I am going to just run a quick video so you can have an introduction to the ladies that are writing in the book, and you get to see some of the titles that they currently carry or formerly carried. And then we're going to bring Mecaila Beth Diaz up. So thank you so much, and please enjoy. And boy, are we inviting you to walk the stage with us on the first of the year. This is so incredibly exciting. Like, I want to run out now and buy a crown. Like, seriously. I want to walk around with my crown and be back in my imagination when I was a little girl. You grow into adulthood and you forget that as a child you had such a wonderful imagination and the whole world just wasn't the world. And I think that I need to revisit that. I don't know about y'all, especially with the holidays here, and the rush into the new year. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to ask Santa for Christmas for. I hope he delivers. So I do hope you enjoy that. As you see, we have 8 wonderful women writing with us. And up next is Mecaila Beth Diaz. Now, when I met Mecaila on the initial Zoom with Crystal and the other ladies to talk about, what's coming, what are the expectations, answer any questions, Mecaila was preparing breakfast for her toddler. She was. And my God, not only is she stunning, but it was just to see her eyes light up when she spoke about pageantry, when she looked at her little girl. I mean, it tells me everything. And when you read her story, you're gonna be, what? You gotta be kidding. This is how she ended up swapping out her work boots for 6-inch stilettos. You heard it. That's right. She's a licensed esthetician, a wife, and a mother. And I am so bloody proud to introduce you to Mecaila Beth Diaz. Hello, beautiful.
Hello.
Oh my goodness, how are you? And welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, I'm good. How are you both?
God. So is little one is down?
No, they're actually in the playroom. I'm like, go down there. They're with dad in the playroom, you know. Luckily, he's
Oh,
in charge. The best pageant dad we could ask for.
oh gosh, I love that you're able to be here. Mommy duties are in the other room and you're wearing a sash. It just
Yeah.
it's like, oh my goodness, listen, it's
phone, too.
everything all in one. So I love your background as well. Tell the audience what your current title is.
Oh yeah. So I am Miss United International Elite Classic. So I am an international title holder currently for the UIE pageant system, which is just an incredible organization. I represent just one little tiny portion of the women that compete for us. Like Katie had mentioned, there are very few pageants that have categories for women who are different. And that's my favorite thing about UIE is we have a category specifically for women with special abilities. So if you're disabled, there's a category for you. We have a category for plus size women. We have a category for 4-year-olds, all the way up to women who are over 100 years old. So like you mentioned, Nick, you could go compete tomorrow if you wanted, because there's always a place for you. You just have to find the right pageant. So that's my favorite thing about representing UIE is that there really is a place for everybody here. And it's such a unique sisterhood and a place that is just created to create equality for women where, you know, everyone is the same.
I have to latch onto the sisterhood part because, I mean, I've heard everyone speak about it. I've read, that in every chapter. And if I was just an observer and didn't know this, I will tell you right now that these ladies live on Facebook. They don't live in the LinkedIn sphere. I'm going to be bringing them over here some more, though. However, I have never seen a more incredibly supportive group of women. The minute something goes out about any on social media, within the next 24 hours, every single person has shared and congratulated and said how excited they are to read their sister's story. This is one of the few communities that I have really and truly seen. I am so sorry about that. This is one of the few communities that I have seen when they talk sisterhood. It's like, oh my God. I apologize for that. Somebody was knocking on my door. Oops. Welcome to real life. Anyway, so my husband keeps telling me I need to put a sign out there that says, on air or something, but
yeah.
All right. So Mecaila, I'm sorry. Crystal, I want to know how you and Mecaila met.
So we met through Mrs. Colorado. My first year competing, Mecaila was competing on stage pregnant. There was another contestant as well who was openly pregnant. This was the first time that it happened. And then they had a joint baby shower that I got to go to. Mecaila and I have done a few pageant appearances together. And then I got to watch her get crowned an international title holder. So I knew some of her pageant journey, but reading her chapter, I was able to learn a lot more of it. And I didn't know it stretched back to when she was a little girl trolling around in a comforter, which I love that image, like imagining herself as a pageant queen.
I know. And, that's crazy because like she imagined herself. And I mean, which little girl who didn't see Superwoman decided that she was going to grab her towel when she jumped out of the shower and wrap it around her neck and, run around saying I'm Superwoman. So, and now so she's doing with her comforter, she's, a beauty queen. And you guys have to read this because this lady is literally on a construction site in her boots. Yes, I did give a little bit of it away. When the camera turns on her, And this started this entire journey. So Mecaila, I am going to shut up now because I'm going to give away your whole damn story at this rate. And nobody's going to buy the book. I'm kidding. Everybody's going to buy the book. But, you thought about that as a little girl. And then this happened. So like between the space of growing up, okay, and life happening, was there a pause between that dream as a child and then like it happening where you just didn't think about pageantry at all? Like, or was it something you always like held on to?
So I've always loved pageants. I've always watched Miss USA, Miss Universe, Miss America, all of them. I think I've watched probably every show since, I don't even know, maybe like 30 years now. So I've watched every single year. I make sure that I'm watching all of those pageants, but I never believed that I could be like up there and be a pageant girl, because I actually had never met one single pageant girl, pageant queen ever in my whole entire life. So it felt very unattainable to me. Like I thought you had to be a very like special like person. Like I don't know who I thought you had to be, but I had never met anybody or seen anybody doing it. So it didn't feel obtainable to me. So even now that I am in pageants, every time I meet little girls, like I always tell them, like, when they're like mesmerized by me, I'm like, if you want to do a pageant, you can. Like, I'm nobody special. And because I think that's important for people to understand, because like I said, for me, I always thought that, these girls on that stage, they were like, who are they? How did they get there? I didn't think of them as being real people.
I completely get that. It's like when you look at movie stars, right? You're like, oh my God, like with all the paparazzi, and you're like, I could never be that person. But you just don't know. And the thing is, until you say yes to any opportunity in life, you really don't know how far you can go. So I gotta have a question.
Uh-oh. I don't know if I can hear you.
Yeah, Nick, I think you're muted. There you go.
Yeah, it's interesting night.
All good.
Anyway, so back to the question. If you could speak to the girl you were before pageantry, what would you tell her about confidence, identity, and becoming her own kind of beautiful?
I would just say that you already have everything that you need within yourself. You just have to be ready to step into it and to believe that you can. I think for a long time, like when I was younger, I had so much confidence and I was doing all of the things. And if there was something that I wanted to do, I believed I could do it and nobody could tell me that I couldn't. And then you grow up and you start failing at certain things and you feel like, oh, maybe I can't do everything. But I feel like once I started doing pageants and trying to do things again, like trying new hobbies, like learning to walk in heels, like that was a big deal for me. Like I could not walk in heels. So that took a lot of practice, but just learning that once you have the confidence, just step into who you already are, you can do anything. It might take a little bit of practice, but you can definitely achieve anything.
As you said that with the heels, Crystal, it also made me think that, when I was younger, I don't know if it's true or not, but you know how they say, like, if you want to walk perfectly, you have to walk with a book on your head? Like,
Yeah.
have either of you ever tried to walk balancing a book on your head? Like, seriously?
I did. Yes, I remember trying to do that when I was younger, like putting a textbook on my head and trying to walk and balance it. I wasn't very good at it.
Do you really have to walk like a certain way? Like, are you trained to walk a certain way?
Yes and no. Like, I think you're trained to have your pageant walk, but that's going to look different for everyone. And the poses are going to look a little different for everyone. Each system has different walking patterns. So I have been working with a walking coach and an interview coach, getting ready for my preparations for Mrs. Colorado, but I'm not necessarily being trained to walk like a certain way. I'm trying to like bring out my best pageant walk. I don't know if Mecaila has anything to add to that.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it is just in anything. It's always just trying to bring out your best. Like you said, for interview, for the longest time, I was interview practicing wrong because I was like, I want to practice the perfect answer. But then actually this last year, once I stopped trying to practice the perfect answer and I just started practicing just answering from my own brain and my own thoughts. It's like, oh, there is no perfect answer. It's just your own best answer. And I think that's like the perfect way of saying it. It's like just coming up, showing up your best, and that's what's going to shine through.
I am loving this so much. Again, I think too much of what we actually see, even in the live shows, what's portrayed in the media and in the movies, gives us such a full sense of what pageantry really is all about, because it comes across very polished, very practiced, if you will. Um, and you know, what I love about you ladies when I speak to you is there's no schooling of features. So when I talk to you, you're very expressive facially, and with your body movements when we're chatting, and that screams human to me, right? Non-robotic, non held together. Like to me, there's a very big difference between having poise and restraint. And restraint to me is not something that reaches people. And what I found in these stories was an unleashing of restraint, where I thought that some of these chapters might have been written in a certain tone. They completely blew me away and just, brought me right back to what true beauty really is. And I want to thank you for that. I'm sorry. So now you have a little girl. If she wanted to join pageantry, is it something that you would support?
Oh, I'm just dying for the day she asks to do a pageant. I'd probably put her in a pageant right now, but my husband, he's got a rule that she's got to ask to do the pageants. Like has to want to do it. But I very much can't wait for her to ask to do a pageant because, I used to think that I would never have her do it until she got older or she was maybe over 18, because there's a lot of misconceptions about what little girl pageants are. But being in more natural pageant systems and seeing the confidence that these little girls have and the things that they're doing in their lives is so inspiring. Like some of the title holders that are on the court with me currently, there's a 5-year-old who has her own nonprofit. And I'm like blown away by that because I'm working to do that still. And she's like 5 years old and she's out there every single month working her nonprofit. Or even there's a girl who is deaf and she has no hearing and she communicates completely with sign language. She was able to do her introduction on stage completely in sign language. And I want my kids to be exposed to that. I want them to be able to meet people like that and to be inspired and pushed by them. And I think that pageantry really can do that. Although it's a competition, I think when you're amongst people who are doing great things in the world, it's going to push you to do great things in the world, whether you're doing it for a competition or not.
That is so well said, right? They say you are the sum of the 5 people closest to you. And what I'm getting out of this as well is that from a very young age, this platform is allowing children to experience diversity in a way that so many adults have not. And, this is a different world that we live in. A lot is changing rapidly. And in the workforce, things are constantly evolving. And more so now than ever, I think that unification is something that has to be a world goal. And when you think of pageantry, this is something that is global, right? So for everything to be moving in this direction is calling diversity out as one of the top, I want to say almost requirements for the pageantry world. They're looking now for people that are more not just, the quote unquote norm. And there seem to have been a norm. Like, for example, your co-author, Natalie, when she comes on, she's going to talk a little bit about that, and some of what she's done and what she's experienced. So I do have a closing question for you. What made you say yes to the opportunity? Like, have you written before? Have you ever given any thought to writing? You know, what made you say yes to this opportunity?
Yeah, actually, I've always loved writing when I was a little girl, same as Crystal. I used to write, well, the craziest stories. I actually have some of them, and I recently went back and read them, and the craziest stories. But I grew up with a learning disability. I had a form of dyslexia, and I never really believed that I could be a writer because I thought, oh well, like you have to be able to be so good at writing. You can't have a learning disability and be a writer. And so I honestly, again, I had never tried. I never had that confidence to do it. So when Crystal posted that she was doing this, I was like, well, this is a good opportunity for me to just try. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect because there's going to be so many other stories that even if my story's not that good, at least I'll be surrounded by a bunch of amazing stories.
Oh my God, you're so funny.
Give me the confidence to just try, which again, like I said, in pageants has given me the confidence to just try things over and over and over again that I never thought I would.
Yeah, you're in as perfect as possible the space to do this for the first time because you are writing to something you live and understand completely. You are writing with sisters in the pageantry world who also understand where you are coming from. And you are actually now, I would say, the second writer with me that, you know, well, you said that you experienced some dyslexia before. I don't know if you still do, but I certainly wouldn't gather that after having read your chapter. I'm just saying. But I'm glad that you shared that as well, because it isn't easy when you have, you know, something like dyslexia that is challenging you to take a step forward to doing something that you already do feel passionate about. You can easily backslide and not feel passionate about it because of the challenge. And you saw the opportunity and you went for it. So before we go, please tell me a little bit about what Miss, and I'm gonna butcher this, United Elite.
It's like International United Elite, UIE. It's a little bit easier.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. There's so many different ones. It's like, how do you keep up?
So do me a favor. Can you stand and show us your sash?
Oh, sure. I can show you my crown too. I have it if you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Gosh.
So a quick little bit about what is the competition about?
So there's many different areas, but it's pretty standard. We do evening gown competition, and we also do one called Fun Fashion, which is like a fashion modeling, and that gives you so many different opportunities. We do interview, like Crystal had mentioned, where we get 10 minutes actually to sit and talk with the judges about why equality, empathy, and empowerment is most important to us and why we're here, because you know, UIE is such a different system that is rooted in community service and uplifting those that are different. And so that is why they make sure that, you know, the interviews a little bit more extensive in those areas. And then we also have our onstage personal introduction where we get to just talk for, you know, a minute about ourselves and while we're there, and we can say anything that we want. So that's all the areas, but it's cool because if you're not there necessarily to win the international crown, there's other opportunities you could win. You can become a spokesmodel for the pageant. You could even just become their top model and go to Fashion Week and model. So there's so many different opportunities that gives you.
Packed into it. I had no idea.
Or like I said, if you're only there to serve your community and, you know, uplift your platform, then it's a great place for that too, because we are part of the Volunteer Presidential Service Award. So if you are, you know, a huge volunteer person, you have the opportunity to win that award as well, which is, you know, awesome.
That makes my heart sing, because I do feel that there are a lot of people out there doing some very meaningful work. And it is not something that is regularly recognized for the volunteer and community work, the service that people are giving back to others out there. So I love that there's so much representation in this pageant for that. And yes, so before I let you off, I am going to ask you, is your crown nearby? I do want to see it.
Yeah, I do. I have it. I was going to wear it, but I thought maybe that's too much. No.
Oh my God, it's gorgeous. We gotta put it on.
And yeah, I have this one. I was so excited to win because this is the special like 5-year crown. So we're the only queens that got this one. Everyone else has a different one. So I was very excited I'm like, oh, I get a special one. That makes it even better to win this year.
Oh my God, this is so beautiful. That's it. I am going out to buy a crown. Okay. Actually, I'm not going out to, I'm opening a GoFundMe for a crown. Anyone want to do a GoFundMe for a crown for me?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then you can get your own title and crown.
Right?
Yes, we'll coach you. Now I'm going to be texting you about doing a pageant.
Yay.
Yes.
Oh, Mecaila, thank you so much for joining us. This was so much fun. So I'll see you soon. We have a whole slew and round of shows going on, and just enjoy the rest of your week. And good. Your kids are great. They haven't come to bother you at all.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Talk to you very soon. Bye.
Bye.
Oh God, this was so much fun.
It was, yes.
I talked because yes, I had a blast. I love meeting different people. I love learning about different industries. And this is a career. You don't, think about it that way, but it's a career choice to go into pageantry, right? Some of these women have been doing this for years. I mean, like a dozen years. Okay, it's not like they went one time and then just decided to pack it all in. I mean, this is a commitment. This is hard work. This is aching feet, tired back. If you have a headache, that's just too bad. So sad. I gotta pass this donut up. I mean, this is all of that. So we have just a minute to go. And I want to say hi to Timothy, who just joined us from Australia. Thank you, my brother. Hello, Peter Mulfa, who is just so awesome. And there's somebody named Packer271 that said, bless you, cuz. So I'm not sure who that is or if he's related to anybody that was up here tonight. So before we go, Crystal, I would like you to just share with the audience, what is the really, really, really one thing that you want people to walk away from after they've read these 8 stories, I apologize, in the book? What's the one message, more than anything else, you want people to walk away with about pageants and how they should now think about it as something that is prideful, okay, from the standpoint of the contestant, why it is they should feel proud of the contestant and proud as well of the pageantry world? And what's one prejudice you want people to just completely lose? Oh, and by the way, Paco was my cousin Priya in Trinidad. Whoop, whoop. That's right. That's my cousin. I'm so sorry. It's my cousin in Trinidad. Hi, cuz.
Yeah. So I think that I want people to walk away with that pageants are empowering. They give people such a platform to promote their causes, to connect with others, that it's a sisterhood. And then the prejudice I want them to leave behind is that pageant women are empty-headed and vain, and that all we care about is our appearance, and that there's nothing going on like behind the scenes. Like there's a whole world of pageantry. So I want people to just be aware of all the good things about pageantry and maybe learn a little bit more about it and maybe even compete. And if you're ready to compete in a pageant, let me know. We have a good community that we can get you plugged in with.
I love it. I just love everything about it. I cannot wait for the release of the book. The person that's handling the publishing is going to be working on the formatting this week. I heard she's pretty good at what she does, and you're going to just really love this. So the start of a new year, the opportunity to learn about something that you've perhaps never really thought about or explored, and to really and truly, give yourself that opportunity to take on a fresh perspective on something that you did know about or you thought you knew about. So with that, I want to thank everyone for joining us. Have an absolutely wonderful rest of your week. And please stick around and enjoy these last couple of videos as we head on out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.